Hey everybody, I've been getting a lot of requests from people wanting to know when I'm going to respond to the most recent video from the channel Monsieur Z, which was, let's keep this straight here, a reaction to my reaction to his reaction to Mr. Beat's video on Woodrow Wilson. When I did my reaction to his video, I didn't know that his was actually a reaction to Mr. Beat. I just saw the title of his video, which was basically saying that Mr. Beat is wrong about Woodrow Wilson and about history. And yes, I am friends with Matt Beat. I have been for several years now. But it's funny enough, if you look back at the first reaction I did to a Mr. Beat video, I pretty strongly disagreed with him and even made some judgments about what I thought his politics were and what his biases were. And while some of that probably was accurate, the fact is I didn't know Matt. All I knew was what I saw on his video. And that's actually what I want to talk about today, because if you haven't seen the Monsieur Z video that came out, the response to mine, I haven't watched it. I have read a lot of the comments and I've heard other people tell me what it says, but I'm not going to watch it. But I did find myself pulled into the comments section of that video. And so I just want to respond to a few things there and respond to Monsieur Z in general about all this, rather than watch the video and respond to the things like that. First of all, something I talk a lot about on this channel is the importance of being someone who can disagree, and even disagree passionately, without being disagreeable. The idea that I can say, I think you're wrong and here's why, without saying, I think you're a bad person or I think you're an idiot. Now, I will be the first one to admit that I don't always follow my own advice.
That, right? And you can look at it and say, like, you know, well, yeah. So get back to your main question.
This guy's an idiot.
About Churchill.
Sometimes, like anyone, I can let emotion get the best of me, and I can devolve into things like with Daryl Cooper, calling him an idiot. And that's not appropriate, and that has no place in this field of the study and the teaching of history. History should be about the facts. It should be about the evidence. It should be about what we can support with the facts and evidence. And yes, all of us, through our biases, through our worldviews, are going to interpret that evidence based on those things. And so that means, for example, that Monsieur Z looks at Woodrow Wilson, and I look at Woodrow Wilson, his character, his presidency, and we come away with two different things. But it does not mean, in the midst of disagreeing about our conclusions about Woodrow Wilson and his presidency, that it needs to turn ugly. And that's kind of where I found myself getting pulled. As I was looking in the comment section, I was seeing things like Monsieur Z calling me and Mr. Beat and cynical historians stupid, saying that we're stupid, we don't know what we're talking about, we don't understand history, saying that we're liars. There were multiple posts on social media calling me names, saying that I am a woke liberal, and of course, you know, emotions getting the best of me as they can at times. That even led me to go to I Side With to take a test to prove how conservative I am. So that's kind of where I was at with all of this, was feeling like I needed to defend myself. And if there's a flaw in my character, and there are many flaws in my character, it's that when I see someone saying something I know isn't true, and I can prove that it's not true, whether it's about me personally or about someone I know or about something in history, I do feel obligated to respond. And that doesn't always bring out the best in me when I do that. And that was kind of what led to some of his social media posts, calling me a man-child because I responded to someone who basically said that I had no business talking about history, that I had no background in it, that I had no credentials. And that led to me listing all of the things that I've done, the books I've written, the documentaries I've appeared on, the speeches I've given, and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, that just is not the person I want to be. I don't want to spend my time trying to prove myself to people I've never met, whose names I don't even know. So that brings me to, what is my response to Dean? Which I learned his name was Dean in the midst of all this. What is my response to him? to the names he's called me, to the insults that he's said, to the things he's disagreed with me. Well, here's my response to it. Dean, I don't know you. We've never met in person. The extent of what I know about you is a couple of videos of yours that I've watched and reacted to about Woodrow Wilson. And I may have done one or two others. I can't remember for sure. You know, I've got 1,500 or so videos. We've never spent time together. I don't know how old you are. I don't know where you live. I just found out what your first name is. I disagree with your opinions. I disagree with your stances on some of the issues. I definitely disagree with your views on Woodrow Wilson, but I don't use those things to say that I think you're a bad person, that I think you're an idiot or stupid or don't know what you're talking about. I don't know, because I don't know you. And you don't know me. You don't know me beyond what you've seen on videos or what you've seen in comment sections and things like that. And so my message to Dean, to Monsieur Z, and that entire community is I wish you nothing but the best. God bless you. I hope that you have success in your life. I will continue to disagree with you on historical interpretations when I disagree. I will agree with you when I agree with things. When I watched your video, the reaction that I did where you were talking about Mr. Beat's video, there were things you said that I agreed with, and I said so. I am willing and able to do that. I'm not going to judge you on your politics. I'm not going to judge you on your historical interpretations. I'm not going to judge your character as a person. I'll leave that to other people. So I wish you nothing but the best. I apologize to anyone who thinks that I was being rude to them. That was certainly not my intention. And I encourage the Vlogging Through History community to stand strong for what you believe in, to defend things with the evidence and the facts and the history, but to never let it become something personal, to never let it become something that it shouldn't be, especially when it comes to people you don't know. Was I defending my friend when I made that video? No, Matt Beat doesn't need me to defend him. He's a big boy. He's a grown man who is intelligent and capable of making his own arguments and decisions. And Matt and I do not agree on everything at all. In fact, there are probably just as many things, if not more, that Dean and I would agree on politically than there are with me and Matt. But Matt and I are friends because we know that there are greater things than just our views on politics and our views on history. And we have found that common ground, and we get along great. And I think that's possible for anybody who's willing to get to actually know somebody and not just judge them on a 20-minute video on YouTube. So to those who decided to make comments about my kids and their politics, I'd say, first of all, you don't know my kids. You don't know their politics. Just as I don't think people know my politics and my views as much as they think they might. I would just say leave them out of it. I talk about my kids because I'm proud of my kids, not because I always agree with my kids. And I challenge you to find anybody who, as a parent, always agrees on the views of the world with their children. It's very unlikely. I've raised my kids to think for themselves. They do that. They're intelligent. And they make their own decisions, and I'm proud of them for that. So I would just say, if you want to come after me based on the facts, based on history, based on reality, not based on, ooh, I'm going to get after him by talking about his background and his kids. Let's stick to talking about Woodrow Wilson and what we think of him and what we think of his presidency, not what we think of people personally. So God bless you, Dean, and your community. I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you continue to do well. I hope you continue to find an audience for your ideas. And I encourage you to disagree and disagree passionately, but find a way to do that without being disagreeable. Thanks, everybody.